Let's talk Tobago.
We are back at Silver Palms in Bonaccord, this time at the recently constructed K. Lee Villa. Now, I've got all the details about this villa and yes, your Tobago-centric stories too. I'm Patricia Nicholson-Richards and this is Let's Talk Tobago. Let's explore. Tobago security, a top priority. We'll tell you more about a major collaboration between the THA and the protective services. Tobagonians are being encouraged to reduce waste deposits on the island, and we chat with a well-known mentor about International Day of the Boy Child.
Yo, what's up? This is yours truly Positive, and you're locked on to Let's Talk Tobago. Easy, bless.
Keeping our residents and visitors safe is top priority for policymakers and our protective services in Tobago. Recently, Chief Secretary, the Honorable Farley Augustine, held a joint press conference to address security on the island. And we have some snippets to share with you in this next story.
This issue of gang-related offenses is primarily responsible for some of the murders that has recently been perpetrated on the island of Tobago. I have instituted 2 teams of officers led by 2 inspectors of police who have been given the mandate, together with the members of the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force, to rid all corners of Tobago of gangs and drug blocks that are presently causing havoc to our beloved citizens. Life will not be easy, as I ask members of the citizens, law-abiding, to bear with us as we search all vehicles and homes that are causing this disruption to our beautiful citizens of Tobago.
Our efforts in supporting the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service will focus on 4 lines of effort, which includes joint patrolling, targeted operations, increased planning and support for strategy and concept development, as well as community development initiatives so that we build greater resiliency in the communities.
The THA is providing the necessary accommodation for up to about 30 additional officers to augment the strength here on the island. There's also a need for access to vehicles so that they can carry out their task. The THA again is making that provision. In fact, the request is for 4 additional specific to the operations Mr. Hazel just spoke about. The THA is again providing that to ensure that they can complete the task necessary. We are using 2-on-1 to develop an app and to create an anonymous line so that we can have a proper informant system so that one can be assured that you can call and you can relay information that will get safely to the TTPS without being injurious to yourself. That is important. Informant support is important. And we need Tobagonians to play that role if we are to have a dent in crime.
Trinidad and Tobago athletes recently blazed the track at the Dwight York Stadium at the recent Zenith meets. Our crew was there and we have all the action in this next story.
Quick, clean starts, long strides, and flawless baton passes will have to be the remedy to medal at this weekend's 12th Zenith Relays and Field Events Festival. And it's happening right here at the Dwight York Stadium, Bacalet. Beautiful Tobago, sunny day. And I'm telling you, 17 clubs are competing over the weekend. It's a grand weekend here in Tobago, and we're going to take to the field to see what is running off.
a testament to how far the club has reached to have a to host the 12th Relay Festival in 2023. I mean, as a club, we have always taken a stance that development is our main goal. And to host the 12th one, I think, it really speaks to the growth and development of the club as well, and in the Tobago space.
Zenith has been a staple over the years in terms of competition. It augurs well for the actual long-term season planning for most athletes. When we watch at the raw talent, it comes from the communities that do not really have the resources available to them. When we watch at the Tocos, the Valencias, and you could see Tobago to some extent because Tobago has one stadium, whereas we have 3 stadiums there that is available to us. So Tobago is a very important part of our athlete development plans, and the more we could get access to Tobago, the more we could get resources in Tobago, I think it will augur well for the long-term success planning for Trinidad and Tobago track and field athletes.
So I'm sitting here with Berenice, and who are you backing this weekend?
I'm backing Kaizen and UTT.
Well, that should be obvious. She has a Kaizen Panthers athlete right next to her, and you've been enjoying the weekend so far, right?
Of course, it has been going very good.
All right, so there you have it. If you missed it, you should come on down. As Berenice said, it's a beautiful weekend, right?
Yes.
So we're broadcasting straight from the Dwight York Stadium, and this is day 1 of 2. Stay tuned. Remember, it's Let's Talk Tobago. I'm Ryan McCool, and it's back to you.
The Tobago Recycling Resource Initiative has been encouraging persons to reduce waste deposit on the island. And just how you can do that, we'll tell you in this next story.
Recycling is a lifestyle. It's something that you probably may not get overnight, but you'd have to work on it consistently to ensure that it becomes part of your mundane routine. And that's why the Tobago Recycling Resource Initiative is here in the Canaan area to help sensitize persons about adapting that lifestyle.
Even before we started the pop-up series, people have been responding pretty nicely. We are taking recycling to the communities and we not only be in the public space, we also actively involved in the schools program. So and that is where you need to spread the culture through the students, and also with the communities, because the communities have to take responsibility for their waste. And when you get the community involved, they are the best waste managers you can find.
What are some of the ideas you could use at home to recycle?
Okay, sometimes I do a lot of recycling. Like for instance, you know the plastic egg trays? Okay, so the part that is shaped like a half an egg, I sometimes cut that out and I use it to make ice. I use it as ice tray.
Sometimes you buy newspaper and you have a lot of old newspaper because you keep reading them and you want to know what to do instead of just burning them. What I do, I fold them in two and make little cups like, and put a little tape to hold it together. And then you put the soil inside of it, so you could culture seedlings inside of them, and when they reach big enough, then you can put them in the ground. The beauty about that, you don't even have to take off the paper most of the time, because by constantly wetting them until the paper is moist, it's not hard. And that would save you from, buying those plastic things.
The bags that I get here, I actually use as my trash bags. Number one, because it is small, I have to take it out more often. And then, as part of that, I also use one to gather my fresh, vegetables and stuff that I cut off. I gather that in a bag, and so I use that to add to my compost.
So we learned a lot of stuff today about recycling, and most importantly, we learned that you don't only have to recycle non-biodegradable waste, you can also recycle organic matter and turn it into something called compost or vermicompost, which is absolutely beneficial for your garden. For all you organic farmers out there looking for healthier produce, for greater yields, you can try it, composting. It introduces beneficial microbes to your soil. And you could do a lot more at home as well. Remember to reduce, reuse, recycle. So from Isaac and I'm Ryan McCool, and you've been watching Let's Talk Tobago.
Guys, we have to take a break right now, but we have more coming up for you right after this. Stay close. Cayley Villa is a newly built villa located in Silver Palms within Bonacore development. This villa is your perfect vacation home for the family. Cayley Villa is designed for a vacation of fun and entertainment with a water slide, jacuzzi, outdoor kitchen with all appliances, outdoor karaoke and plenty of areas around the villa for liming. The villa is perfectly located, walking distance to local beaches, bars and restaurants. There's so much to entertain you and the family both in and around the villa.
Yo, what going on? This is Jaronus, and you're locked on to Let's Talk Tobago. Don't touch that dial.
So we're chatting with Mr. Michael Stewart, and he is the Caribbean coordinator for World Day of the Boy Child. Mr. Stewart, welcome.
Thank you very much.
And let's get right to it. So as founder of B-Men, how do you link International Day of the Boy Child and B-Men?
Well, B-Men was founded in order to advocate for the issues of men and boys. So the arm that deals with the boys, we usually cooperate with the World Day of the Boy Child. So what we do, we meet with a number of young men and we interact with them. We bring the information to bear to some of the workshops and programs that we want to do internationally on that scale.
Okay, and what impact does International Day of the Boy Child have on boys in Tobago?
Well, I would tell you that not much. Unfortunately, because we do not put emphasis on it, unlike the other organizations, like when you have International Women's Day, that is sponsored by UN or at least recognized by UN on their calendar. So sponsors, business places will do things for that in order to get publicity. UN does not have World Day of the Boy Child nor International Men's Day. So International Men's Day, that day is listed on UN as World Toilet Day. And the one for Boy Child, which was just recently, that one I think it is written for Day of Peace.
Yeah.
So it means therefore that you don't attract the kind of resources and attention to the boys as you would very well like. So hopefully this year we'll be able to have some measure of awareness and sensitivity towards that, especially when we recently had the crime summit in Trinidad, and it recognized that a number of young men have gone astray. We may be able to have now some more emphasis placed on it. But we need institutions, government institutions, businesses to come on board in order to be able to give us the kind of fillip that we need.
And what are some of the challenges experienced with boys in Tobago?
One of it clearly is being brought up by a single parent household, particularly single parent by a mother who may not understand all the nuances that a boy would go through. So, for example, a boy will wake up with an erection. A mother, I've met mothers who could not understand why that was so, right? And so they would have a certain reaction to it, thinking that probably this is something that may be wrong, promiscuous and so on, which is natural because a boy's testosterone level is highest in the morning, a man's also. So this is why that takes place. Some of the things that a man would, or a boy as he becomes a man, would want to take charge of, especially as a single mother, he tries to take charge of her to replace his own father. And that may come across of trying to rule her. So it is trying to understand all of those things that he goes through, and if we punish wrongly without understanding what the boy may be trying to achieve, it could damage him emotionally and cause him to withdraw. And later on, when they want him to take charge, he's unwilling.
Are programs available to deal with situations like these?
Well, we had, through B-Men, a program called Boys Polishing Camp. In that Boys Polishing Camp, it was supposed to deal with many of these issues. Unfortunately, it was sponsored at that time. We got sponsorship. We haven't had sponsorship for that since then because of probably the economy, etc. So we have not been able to continue. That was supposed to track boys over 5 years to see how they are. There's a current boy, A.J. Allen. I don't know if you've heard of him. J. Allen, he has gone and been the mock prime minister in youth parliament, etc. He came through our boys polishing camp, and he's one of our proud graduates of that program. We would have wanted to continue that as it developed, but we were not able to sustain that. However, for the last 2 years, I have been going to St. Lucia, who saw it, liked it, and putting resources towards it. I am out there again in August, doing it again this year. Unfortunately, we can't do it in Tobago because it costs, right? For example, when you're doing meals, we try for them not to come with meals home because many of these boys, 16 years old, never ate with knife and fork, with their hands. They were accustomed to a box food. Yeah. So we want to give them a balanced meal, help them with knife and fork and so on, but that cost to be able to get a caterer, bring in food, etc., for a period of probably 5 days, etc. That's why we need the kind of support from businesses and governmental institutions.
And you have safe spaces for women and girls, but are there safe spaces for boys in Tobago?
Unfortunately, again, no. So this is one of the reasons why we are so much falling behind. And it's unfortunate because I don't think that enough people are sensitive as to what it is causing and how this is going to play out in a number of years coming down. So the answer is no.
And in terms of advice, what's one piece of advice you'd give to a parent or parents as it relates to how they nurture our boys?
I think it is important for a boy to have a listening ear. He feels that if he's heard, he feels that he can now have a voice. And one of the reasons why they have become silent, I believe, is because they don't feel as though they have a voice. And the number one listening ear that every boy wants is his father's ear. And so we need to find out, even when the relationship breaks down between a man and a woman, I think that they must be able to be collaborative enough so that they could recognize our issues should not supersede the needs of the boy, and have him make that connection with the father. And fathers need to take the time off, sacrifice the time. There was one young man who was disruptive in school, and when I spoke with him when his mother brought him in, it was because the father and mother had separated. And so he wanted to be connected to the father. The mother had taken the father to court for maintenance. And all of that was bothering him. They didn't know that. So when we spoke with the father, and the father understood that the boy wanted to spend time with him, even though he lived with the mother, he promised all three of us, the mother, father, myself, if he got to be with the father every so often, like every weekend, they will never have a problem with him again. And he kept his word. The last time I saw the parent, which was about a year or 2 years after, the mother said, he is a model boy. He has never been suspended from school again. All he required was to connect back with his father.
And that's important. Boys being able to connect and stay connected with their fathers. And that's it from us with Mr. Michael Stewart chatting with us about World Day of the Boy Child.
Thank you.
So recently, the world celebrated Mother's Day. And here in Tobago, our Chief Secretary, the Honorable Fali Augustine, brought Mother's Day cheer to women of his division, the Office of the Chief Secretary. The gifts? Very thoughtful. Check it out.
Today, we are going to specially honor all the mothers in my two divisions, OCS and Finance. And of course, while we're at it, we're sending greetings to all our mothers all across the country, especially those in my electoral district of Palativere, Lansome, Speyside. So, happy Mother's Day. Let's go celebrate women, motherhood, maternal instincts, and all the maternal bonds that we have. You know, they say, the hands that rock the cradle rules the world. Let's go. So I've just completed my both divisions. Last stop was here where we have records, where we store documents at this very old building of the fort, as we call it. We went through all of OCS, all of the Division of Finance, and we were able to celebrate all of our mothers and celebrate the fact that they are contributing to the development of Tobago. Thank you for being there for me. Happy Mother's Day all. God's richest blessings.
A truly relaxing poolside at Kaylee's Villa. But guys, we've come to the end of yet another episode of Let's Talk Tobago. Now for more of our content, you can follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok. You can also visit our website at www.tha.gov.tt. I'm Patricia Nicholson Richards, and on behalf of all of us at the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly, thank you so much for viewing and see you soon.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
To Youth Wednesdays on the Tobago Updates Morning Show. We are live here in Portmore, Scarborough, Tobago. Yes, the rain might be falling. Yes, you might be just rolling out of your bed and moving that comforter from over your head. But we want to welcome you to Youth Wednesday on the Tobago Updates Morning Show. My name is Dwayne Nurse, and I'm joined with
Luke Trim. And yes, viewers, it's a rainy morning, but for those of you joining as you take your morning meditation, those of you listening as you drive on the roads, thank you so much for choosing Tobago Updates to start your morning on the right note. Once again, I am Luke Trim.
And I am Kaylee Lewis. Good morning, Tobago. Good morning, Dwayne and Luke. As you all said, it's quite a rainy morning. I checked the weather. I think we're supposed to have some sun a little later on in the day. So that's something to look forward to. Although I have been enjoying the rain because this heat is getting to me.
The heat was licks.
I mean, I would enjoy this rain better in my bed.
I agree.
Agreed.
Thankfully, some people have days off and, hasn't been to work in a while. So certain people will be enjoying the rain after this morning show. So it sucks to be you guys.
Are you talking about yourself?
I never called the name. So guys, what's been happening in this space as well?
A lot has been happening. First, I'm sure by now you would have seen the passing of our renowned boxer, Claude Noel, and condolences is extended from the Tobago Updates family, especially Youth Wednesday family, to the family of the Claude Noel who would have passed. He was a boxer.
He really made Trinidad and Tobago proud, and his contributions in that whole arena. It's really one to note because we have the Claude Noel Highway. So this is a Trinidad and Tobago debt, and
and he plays Tobago on the map as well. I hope you guys would be inspired like myself to get into boxing too.
I think you should. Purple Dragon has a kickboxing segment after the martial arts. You could always join and see how and just see how it is. I think boxing will be something for all of us to join. Kaylee, how you feel about that?
I'm not too certain.
What else has been happening?
Well, we've seen a little video. It has been circulated with some audio. What are your thoughts on that?
It's quite controversial. Controversial
to say the least.
And we shouldn't get right into it just yet because we have a segment possibly to deal with that later on. But it's quite controversial. It's good conversation to have surrounding the topic. And what about you, Luke?
I don't know. I just find it interesting. It's interesting to know that you have to go through 5 years of high school, a little 2 years at sixth form, you know, study extremely hard for your exams when it could just be as simple as making a Facebook account, fake or real, and you get your 8 to 4. You know, if that is the case, if that is the way jobs are disseminated in the THA now, I think that is a really interesting conversation to have. Kaylee, what are your thoughts?
Well, I want to agree with you, Luke, and say that it's quite interesting that, I mean, we can't confirm that the audio is legit. We can't confirm it. You know, we've heard it and we really can't confirm that it is legit, but it's really interesting that persons are being paid for something like that. But I mean, I think it happens all over the world. You know, persons use their social media to spread propaganda. So, I mean, I can't really say too much on it. As you said, Dwayne, we have a little conversation around it later on in the show.
But,
so
not little, it's going to be a big conversation.
yeah, quite a big conversation.
An ongoing one, for good cause.
But I mean, I don't mind,
Yeah.
For the extra cash. What about you, Luke?
Of course, I will sit down on my Facebook profile if all I have to do is, you know, defend Fali or just say whatever propaganda it is for a little fast cash.
Exactly.
That's okay, you know. I think it's legal.
Yeah.
Is it legal once it's honest money, right? Is it legal?
I guess all those questions we could ask.
It will be legal on all parts. I'm not too sure the part of the members of the executives, but however, you know, we just doing our job at the end of the day. So
Not have your bed, when it's
legal.
Yeah, you get paid to just be on social media. I think that is an interesting job. I mean, persons have those kinds of jobs. They're social media managers, and yeah. So, we could look into that.
Yeah, we can look into that.
We can look into that.
It's always good to have multiple streams of income.
Exactly.
But also, I think it's important to just remind those students who are, I think it's upper and lower six, and those students who are just breaking from university, to remember that the YES program deadline is on Friday, this Friday. So please remember to submit your resume, apply, and enjoy the experience that the Tobago House of Assembly is affording you at this time.
And if we don't get through this program,
just
we know where to look for the job. Yeah.
Just make a fake profile.
You know where to look.
All right. So, you know, that's enough for the banter for this morning. We're going to go over to Kaylee for news in 90 seconds.
Thank you, Dwayne and Luke. And here is your news in 90 seconds for Wednesday, 23rd May, 2023. Vexing, disgusting, alarming, and dangerous were some of the words used by the panel on the Minority Report to describe a voice note circulating on social media. The voices appear to be that of Chief Secretary Fali Augustine and Education Secretary Zerisha Hackett, strategizing to provide THA employment for individuals willing to spread propaganda on social media. Minority Leader Kelvin Morris said if the video is verified, then it is a slap in the face for Tobagonians who expected a higher standard of governance. Meanwhile, PNM Tobago Council political leader Ansel Dennis reminded Tobagonians of the Integrity Act, which speaks against nepotism and corruption, and the social contract signed by assemblymen after being elected, which addresses accountability and transparency. And nationally, Public Utilities Minister Marvin Gonzalez has distanced himself from allegations that he misled the Secretary of Settlements, Public Utilities and Rural Development, Ian Pollard. Pollard accused Gonzalez's office of deliberately putting the wrong date on an invite for Wasa's sod-turning ceremony, which took place yesterday. According to Gonzalez, the ceremony was scheduled to take place today. However, due to parliamentary commitments, he was forced to change the date. Gonzalez published communication between his office and Pollard's office, notifying them of the change. Gonzalez claimed his office did not get a reply to the change of dates and said he never intended to cause political bacchanal. In other news, all eyes are on Parliament today, where Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley is expected to make an announcement regarding the local government elections. Last Thursday, the Privy Council found that the government acted illegally by extending the tenure of councillors and aldermen while postponing local government elections for more than a year. And that was your news in 90 seconds.
Thank you very much, Kaylee, for that excellent read of our news in 90 seconds. You know, so much went on in that read. I find so much has been happening this past 2 weeks in Trinidad and Tobago. But anyways, guys, you know, there are always some birthdays to celebrate here on Tobago Updates. So, our birthdays, guys, who are our birthdays sponsored by?
KFC.
Finger licking good.
Ooh, we're still waiting on those barbecue singers from.
This is your birthday shoutouts on Tobago Updates, sponsored by KFC.
First on our list, we have Kadisha Charles Mills. Happy birthday going out to you, Miss Mills from the Tobago Updates family.
And up next, we have Miss Perlian Utley. A happy birthday goes out to you, and I hope you do enjoy your birthday today. Who do we have next?
Next on our list,
we have Mr. Wendell McNeil. And birthday greetings is also extended from your wife, Roma, siblings, and the rest of the family. So, quadruple birthday greetings from a lot of persons this morning to you, Mr. McNeil. And finally, who do we have?
Finally, on all this, we're sending out happy birthday to Judah Lawrence, who is celebrating his 6th birthday today. And these birthday greetings are coming out from Dad and Mom, Garnet and Tanessa Lawrence, and Sister Sarah, grandparents, aunts, and uncles. So it's the entire family wishing little Judah a happy birthday today. Yes. And that's it for our birthdays.
Birthday shoutouts on Tobago Updates, sponsored by KFC.
From the experts that created the Zinger sandwich comes the KFC Crispy Barbecue Zinger.
The only one I see is you.
Cheddar cheese, crispy onions, the most delicious Kentucky Fried Chicken, and barbecue sauce. Get ready for a whole new level of flavor.
And we want to thank KFC, you know, for making our experience at Tobago Updates a finger-licking good one also. You know, big up KFC all the time. So, guys, you know, we have to give you the rundown. And today, as per usual, we have an interesting and packed segment for you all. So, firstly, we'll be joining and discussing an anti-bullying drive. And then they will be followed by an event called Pure, the all-white event. And then we will be closing off today's segment with discussions about our political atmosphere, titled What Really Going On, as we bring on Senator the Honorable Lawrence Hislop to just discuss all that's been happening within the past week. So viewers, we have a packed and interesting segment for you guys. We have to tell them to share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
One of the major learning curves encountered during the COVID-19 pandemic was the increased use of innovation and technology to conduct daily functions. This major hurdle affected the country's education sector tremendously, with teachers, students, and parents having to quickly find ways to continue teaching and learning using these means. Post-pandemic, the Division of Education, Research and Technology is finding ways to integrate on
policy guidelines to help us to utilize all of the positive things that we got through the pandemic, along with our face-to-face.
This new initiative seeks to reduce teaching and learning loss due to several factors, such as unpredictable weather patterns or another pandemic situation. From early childhood to tertiary level education are represented on the committee with multi-departmental input and expertise from the division. Technical advisor from DIRTEC, Natasha Second, assured that this initiative is not just another talk shop, and the committee is well on its way to fulfill a seamless integration among all educational institutions on the island.
We wanted to look at all of the challenges and place a solution for each of them. So the guideline or the policy guidelines will meet all of the challenges that we could perceive of.
Ms. Second revealed that the committee, formed in April 2023, has a 6-month implementation deadline, which will include a pilot project in selected schools and the delivery of the completed policy and guidelines.
is how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show, and everybody's gonna know. Say it to them once again. They better look up below. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show. Live more.
Yes, be careful.
Honey, I feel I'm going to start to cook, yes, because these children must be hungry now. Right? Oh, shucks. Oh. These plugs, oh my gosh.
Hey, wait up. Hey, come from there. Come from there.
What's going on in here?
Oh God, boy, oh God, I should have buy extinguisher, boy.
What would you do if this happened to you? Dial 990 in case of fire emergencies and always have a serviceable fire extinguisher ready and available at all times.
The Across the Floor Dance Company presents Emotions, Movement of the Heart dance production on Saturday, May 27th at the Shore Park Complex. Come see dances of all genres. Seating at 6:30 p.m. Show starts promptly at 7 p.m. Tickets are only $100. Children 10 and under pay $50 at the door. Tickets are available at Shore Park Complex box office, or please call 391-2816 for more information. This is an event for the entire family.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning.
Good morning, Tobago, and welcome back to the Tobago Updates Youth Morning Show. We have a lot to discuss this morning, Lou.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. And you know, Kaylee, Tobago Updates would not be Tobago Updates without our loyal viewers. So viewers, for this segment, we want to hear from you. We want to hear your thoughts. We want to hear your opinions. So for those of you who want to comment, you can comment. For those of you who will want to WhatsApp us, our number is now passing on the screen, 284-6597, to just hear your views and opinions with all that's been happening in the Tobago space. So Kaylee, let's try to do it in chronological order. What's the first issue that we have seen happening in Tobago?
The first or the most recent?
Let's go with the most recent.
The most recent is the voice note.
The voice note.
Now, as we were talking about it earlier on, I remembered that there's this new AI thing. So, I mean, I'm not sure if that was the situation or if the voice note was legit, but you know, there is the AI now.
The AI.
So, you know, you could mimic somebody's voice or actually copy their voice. Because, you know, you have songs and you have persons putting Rihanna's voice on a song, Drake's voice on a song. We know there was a little incident with Kanye West and Taylor Swift. So they had Kanye West singing one of Taylor Swift songs, but he wasn't actually doing it. It's AI, it's a technology. So can it possibly be AI?
Well, we need to know if that type of technology has reached Tobago, because yes, we've seen the AI, but the AI has been more for songs. I think it's easier to mimic a singer because they have such a wide array of songs. It's easy to put it together, but I don't think I've seen any instances where AI was used to mimic conversations. I'm not sure if that has reached in Tobago, but It's interesting, Kaylee, because it brings me back when we look at politics. So when Franca Cordner was running and her voice note leaked, no one questioned the legitimacy
how legit
of
it was, exactly.
You know, they said that is Franca's voice. You could hear that's Franca's voice. But when you listen to the voice note, I think you can hear it's probably the chief secretary voice. You can hear it's probably the secretary of education's voice. And
because
names
those
were
two
called.
voices are very distinct. Exactly as you
voices.
said, names were called.
Names were called.
So, you know,
And it didn't sound very AI to me. It wasn't sounding very robotic to me. So viewers, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on this whole voice note situation? Do you think that it's fake? Do you think that it's real? Do you think that probably someone within the executive is probably a mole? So many options, like so many is going on.
I
Come
don't
on,
think
viewers.
that's a thought anymore because that's definitely reality.
Yeah.
Because I mean, even if the conversation would have occurred before, you know, the whole falling out between the two leaders of the party, why was it recorded? Was it the secretary, the person who was taking notes at the meeting? You know, sometimes the secretary they record the meeting for the purpose of the minutes. Was that the reason why the meeting was recorded?
All of that, Kaylee, all of that is so many reasons. Like, why was it recorded? Who recorded it?
Was it an accident? Why the voice note was released? Did they do it on purpose? So many questions surrounding this situation.
And the only person we could ask those questions are the persons who were allegedly in the recording.
And we have not heard anything from them since to confirm or deny.
And you know, in the world of PR, the first rule that I was trained, I was mentored, is that in terms of crises and scandals, your silence, you not confirming or denying, you might think it's helping, but it's actually not helping a situation. Because when we look at this group of people, individuals, when we look at these group of individuals, especially on social media and Facebook, every time something happens that is inaccurate, they quickly fix the situation, they quickly publish something to deny the claims. We would have seen that with the Liz Williams scandal. We would have seen that with the house, the keys, right? So all of that is just fueling more questions.
I'm looking at the comments here. I'm seeing somebody saying that the AI could real stutter good boy.
Oh, God.
And I think that's very interesting to note as well.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you know, some of the terminology, the vocabulary that was used and that kind of thing. Exactly. That's what I was looking for. My apologies. Yeah, when you look at those kind of things, when you analyze it, you could definitely tell. But, you know, we have some more coming up in the show for you all this morning. We have an interview coming up. Up next, we're going to be speaking with two persons regarding an anti-bullying campaign. So before that anti-bullying campaign, we have an interview coming up just before that. So stay tuned and remember to share the live, share the live, share the live.
A lot happening today.
October will never be better with Tobago Carnival fever. Okay, passage and come on over.
Coconut's Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes. For breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, bull joil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules or if you are having a cooking day off.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
Are you looking for a place for your loved ones? Heavenly Care welcomes you. Located at Northside Road opposite Massey Motors, we offer a variety of services. These include doctor visitations, social activities, geriatric care, and much more. Contact us at 277-9595 or visit us at Northside Road opposite Massey Motors. At Heavenly Care, compassion is at the heart of all care.
Johnny, call fire. What's the number? What's the number? Oh, God.
Fan emergency, good afternoon. You said the building is on fire. Are there any persons trapped? 4 persons. What is the address of the call, ma'am? Number 4, Candy Drive, Pier Road. Can I have your name, please? Miss Bihari. Thank you, Miss Bihari. I'll be dispatching an appliance. Central Control from Fire Control.
Go ahead, Fire Control. Central Control is receiving over.
Central Control, have a plans and crew. Respond to our residential fire. Same is at number 4, Candy Drive, Pier Road, Chabonas. 4 persons are trapped, 2 adults, 2 children. They were unable to make contact with fire service, so she called on their behalf.
Transmission received loud and clear. Operator at Central Control, 3462. Firefighter Wiley, Central Controller.
Create an evacuation plan for you and your family and practice your escape. Always ensure you have more than one way to safely exit your home. Your lives may depend on it.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning, Tobago, and welcome back to the Tobago Updates Youth Morning Show. This morning we're going to be talking about an event, and I'm going to tell you from the beginning. Make sure and pay attention because we have a little surprise at the ending. So before we begin the interview, good morning, ladies. How are you doing this morning?
We're fine. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Can you introduce yourselves to the viewers?
All right. Well, I'm Jasmine Francois, and
I am Taffy Voice. Okay, so can you tell us a little bit about your position in terms of the event?
Right. Well, Taffy and I are both committee members. Yeah, so we both assist in planning the event.
Okay, wonderful. And can you tell us a little bit about the event? So the name of the event is Pure All White Event. So tell us a little bit about it. You know, the inspiration behind having it as an all white event and that kind of thing.
Right. So basically, pure means purity. Right. When we say purity, we say all white. And when we say all white, basically, the color white, the embodiment of it means purity. So that is where the all white came from. Yeah.
Okay, and in terms of the event itself, like, you know, what type of event is this? What can patrons expect?
Okay, patrons can expect a wide variety of dishes, a great DJ cast from Trinidad and Tobago, and performance by Adana.
Okay, and you spoke about a DJ cast. Are there any artists that will be present? Can you call names right now, or are you all waiting to drop those things a little later down in the event?
Well, so far we could call Adana, maybe. Yeah. The rest you'll have to wait and see.
Okay, and in terms of the DJ cast?
We have like our local DJ All-Star Aaron, MC Snoopy, any more?
Yeah.
And the list goes on.
Yeah.
All right, and in terms of the demographic, can you tell the viewers a little bit about the demographic? Who you all are expecting at Pure, the all-white event?
Well, to be honest, there will be like a mixture. There will be like mid-aged groups of people. There will be like mature people. There will also be probably a few young people amongst the middle-aged ones. Yeah.
Okay. And in terms of the history of this event, how long has it been in existence? Is it a first-time thing? Have you all done this previously?
Oh, no, not at all. BOI Entertainment has been in existence for over 5 years now. Yeah. So this is the 5th Pure.
Okay, so it's been in existence for over 5 years. That means that you all would have had events pre-COVID, right? Yes, correct. So then how did COVID affect ticket sales, most importantly, for the event? Were persons eager to come out?
Well, to be honest, during the COVID season, we didn't have the Pure event again. We recently had Revel on the Sea, which would have been for Tobago Carnival. And the ticket sales were actually great. I think people were eager to come back out and party and enjoy themselves once again.
Okay, and in terms of the entity that hosts Pure all-white event, and you said you all had Revel for the Tobago Carnival, can you tell us a little bit about the entity, you know, some of the stakeholders, some of the persons who contribute towards these events?
I can't quite say.
Okay, so you know, like, okay, for example, in Trinidad, FOC is hosted by Year of Life, right? Okay, so Pure and Revel, is there an entity, like a specific body, an executive that hosts these events?
Well, BOI Entertainment is the name of
the company. Okay, no problem. And in terms of the surprise that we have for the viewers this morning, can you give us a little bit of information regarding that? How many tickets, how you can win the tickets, and you could give the viewers the questions. And viewers will have the number coming across the screen, so you all can WhatsApp us, and we'll see who sends in the correct response first, and you will win yourself a ticket for Pure, the all-white event. So you could take it away.
Right, well, we have 2 tickets to give away. The first question will be to name at least 5 ticket outlets. Yeah. And the second question would be to give the full location, the venue location.
Okay, wonderful. So viewers, you heard that. You have to name 5 ticket outlets, and you also have to give the venue for the event. So what's going on back there, Master Control? Can you tell me what's taking place with the messages? Who is our lucky winner this morning? Let me go over to the Facebook Live and see what persons are saying. You have to send your responses via WhatsApp, but I'm just looking on Facebook here to see if anybody's giving out the answers. Okay, viewers, so the winners will be announced right after this short break. So please remember to share the live, share the live, share the live.
Feel it in the air from the time I wake. Spirits come alive when we celebrate. What we bring to life don't happen every day. It's a kind of high that they can replicate. This stage is beyond. This place is beyond. Look how the ground shaking, all over town shaking. This
Tobago will never be the same. It's coming strong, but it's tired. This little piggy is tired. It's finally here, Tobago. The adult-only comedy that played to sold-out houses across Trinidad is finally in Tobago. One night only. Saturday, June 3rd at 8:30 p.m. at the Shore Park Complex. Tickets available at advertised outlets. Check press and social media for details. Tobago, the Bacchanal Week.
It's a different type of thing down there. And we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago.
Help! Fire service! Hello, fire service! Anybody in here? Fire service! Yeah, we're right here! We gotta get out! We're right here! Okay, take him! Let's go!
Thank you for saving me. You're my hero.
Together, as we face the challenges during the new normal, always remember that fire safety begins with you.
Advertise with Tobago Updates. Call 284-6597. If you have a small or large business, we can get your information in front of the masses. Reach our rapidly growing viewership on Facebook and YouTube. Promote your brand in Trinidad and the Caribbean through M&E TV Now and Gayel. Yes, we can build unique ads for your business. Call now 284-6597 and advertise with us.
Excel Spa by Haley, where our highly trained staff are ready to deliver the top-class services in facial massages, waxing, nail enhancement and body treatment. We are ideally located at Coco Avenue, Switzerland, Tobago. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, TripAdvisor, or you can call us on 730-0149. Excel Spa by Haley. Relax, renew, and rejuvenate.
Don't mind how things looking hard. I tell them never ever worry. If you're nice, can't be damaged bad. I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil will always be here for you.
Tatil, where people are people. You know what I mean.
Never ever worry. Don't mind if life make you sad. I tell them never ever worry. If your house get flooded out real bad. I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil will always be here for you.
Tatil, where people are people. You know what I mean.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, and welcome back to the Youth Wednesday show here on Tobago Updates. Now, viewers, for this segment, we will be diving into the political arena to discuss everything that's been happening in the Tobago space thus far. And joining us this morning is someone who is no stranger to us here on Tobago Updates, and furthermore, no stranger to us here in Tobago, none other than the Honorable Senator Lawrence Hislop. A special morning to you, Senator. How are you doing?
Morning. How are you doing, Luke?
I'm doing excellent.
I am doing well. Bit tired, but that's part of the course, as they say. But I'm doing well nonetheless.
And I don't think the rain is going to help with the tiredness. You know, this is weather to be wrapped up sleeping.
Not when there's work to do, my brother. Not when there's work to do.
Understood, Senator.
Good morning, Tobago. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. It's good to be here.
All right. So, Senator, the last time we spoke, one of the questions that was raised is why Rowley wants to call elections in Tobago when there's still the local elections to be dealt with. And I think all eyes will be on Rowley today as he make an announcement regarding that whole drama with the local elections. What are your thoughts when it comes to the local elections in Trinidad?
Well, as I said the last time I was here, that the Prime Minister, I know, is not afraid of any elections, and I know the country is waiting with bated breath to hear his statements today. According to the Attorney General yesterday in the Senate, the Prime Minister will address the issue as it relates to local government elections today and the issues that surrounded the Privy Council ruling. So let's wait to see what the Prime Minister will do. As I said, I have no fear, no worry that the Prime Minister isn't afraid of elections, and the elections will be called at the right time.
But, Senator, don't you think that there should be some level of fear regarding everything that's going on in Trinidad? You know, we have the issue with crime, we have the issue with infrastructure, the roads, unemployment still needs to be addressed. There are so many issues that are plaguing Trinidad, yet we are yet to see them being rectified, and these are all issues that are happening under the current PNM administration in Trinidad. So don't you think there should be some level of fear regarding everything that's going on with the economy in Trinidad?
No, well, I don't know. I don't think fear is the correct word. That is politics. Politics is you have governance and you have politics, and the reality is elections are part of the political system. And if you look at the Prime Minister's track record, you look at the PNM's track record, the PNM nor the Prime Minister has been afraid to call elections or to contest an election.
Okay.
And so I'm not going to even use that as or put that as part of the story. Fear, there's no fear. You deal with issues as they come when you are in governance, and crime and infrastructure and all of these things are part of the governance structure. And so you deal with it when it comes, and when the elections come, you deal with elections. You fight your elections, and somebody must win, somebody must lose.
Understood, Senator. So I'm going to hand you over to Dwayne now.
Right.
Good morning, Senator. How are you?
Morning, Dwayne. How are you doing?
Good, man. Like the color shoot, man.
Thank you very much.
You know, so my question to you is regarding the Privy Council ruling and what is happening as they might say about the delay in the local government elections in Trinidad. Do you think that the Prime Minister is using this as an excuse, you know, to delay what is the inevitable? Yes, I hear you on the fact that, you know, there is no fear and an election is imminent and all them kind of things. However, you know, who really does fear an election? Because, I mean, look at what happened in Tobago recently in 2021 and in 2010 when the then PNM Prime Minister Mr. Patrick Manning called the election and the results. Are you saying all that to say that, you know, we should not fear the result? The Prime Minister does not fear the result of what would happen if he does call the election.
No, but if you in politics, you understand that the results of an election are inevitable. whether you win or whether you lose, the results are inevitable. Right. So I don't want to go down that road wondering whether the Prime Minister is afraid, you should ask the Prime Minister that question. But I'm not in the Prime Minister's head. And I could tell you, based on his track record, he has no fear of any elections at all. The people, and that's the part of politics and elections. The people decide, and the people judge you based on the work you've done, and also based on what the other entity, the other party is seeking to promote. And so, why I don't understand why we want to drill down on whether he's afraid to call an election or not. Remember we took a local government bill, a local government reform legislation to Parliament that was passed, increasing the term of office of councillors to 4 years, and the cabinet in their wisdom saw the need to extend the life of the existing councillors or the existing corporations so as to give the government additional time with the necessary reforms that have to take place at local government.
All right.
And so the Privy Council made a ruling, and that's what the courts are for as well. If an individual, if a citizen feels aggrieved about something, they go through the courts, and the courts take a decision, or highest court is the Privy Council. They took a decision, and the government and the country has to live with the decision that was taken, the ruling that was given by the Privy Council. And so I don't want to keep spinning back to that issue about whether the Prime Minister is afraid of calling elections. I can tell you he's not. And let's wait to hear what he says today, and then we go from there. And the reality is, the only party, and we keep saying this, and sometimes people think that it is arrogant and that we're bragging, but it's just the reality of it. The only party that has contested every election in Trinidad and Tobago and contested every seat in an election in Trinidad and Tobago is the People's National Movement. And so when we're talking about being afraid of elections, and there are other entities who call themselves national parties who for one reason or another never field candidates in particular seats. And those are the people you should be asking if they are afraid of particular seats, particular electorates. Those are the people you should be asking, not the People's National Movement, because we've proven time and time again, when it comes to elections, when elections are called, the People's National Movement fields candidates in every election and in every electoral district and constituency.
All right, Senator, and we have this term within our youth space where we like to say read the room. Mm-hmm. The older folks will say the elephant in the room. Yeah. And, the reality is no matter what we discuss in this interview, we have to address the elephant in the room. Mm-hmm. So before I get into that, let's take a step back to last election. Now, last election for the 2021 THA elections, during the campaign period, a recording was released with a voice appearing to be that of Franca Cordner, where she made certain statements, and it was plastered all over the media, and it was out there. Now, yesterday, the Tobago space would have heard a recording with voices appearing to be that of Chief Secretary Fali Augustine and that of Secretary for Education, Ms. Zorisha Hackett, where they seem to be strategizing plans in which they would employ people in the THA 84 in exchange for spreading propaganda on the medias, via it be through mediums such as their personal accounts or fake accounts. Mm-hmm. We really need to get your thoughts on that recording. If you heard the recording, what are your thoughts on that recording?
Well, I heard the recording. Mm-hmm. If the recording is indeed true, it's a bad direction for our politics. But truth be told, I await a response from the alleged, the two individuals who we believe the voices to be. I await a response from them. I await, and I think the island and the country deserves a response. I don't think that if the Chief Secretary and the Secretary for Education remain silent, that they believe that it will go away. It is worrying that was the strategy or remains the strategy, because it sends a bad signal that you can spread propaganda, you could spread untruths, innuendos, downright lies in some regard, in exchange for a job, in exchange, your payment for doing that is a job, whether you're qualified or not for the job. And so I think that there is the onus now is on the two individuals. We believe that the two voices, we recognize the two voices to be the voice of the Chief Secretary and the Secretary of Education. And so it is their responsibility to come to Tobago, to come to the country, to see whether or not it is them and whether or not what is being said on the tape is indeed so. And if it is so, then we come again to your morality as it relates to governance, because your modus operandi, where politicking is concerned, they say how you campaign is how you govern. And so if this was your method of campaigning, then it says a lot as to why the governance is the way it is.
All right, Senator, and we need to raise this next issue. Politics aside, with Franca going up for PNM and all those things. Before Franca was a candidate, Franca is a human being, and she's a young, aspiring youth. Yes. And we are seeing differences in how this situation is being handled, because when Franca's video recording leaked, no one was questioning whether it was her. We didn't hear the end of it. The recording ran for about a good 2 weeks. It just kept popping up all over. But with this recording, we're just getting silence from people who promised to be Ghanaian transparency. And Senator, it brings us to question now what really went on in that audio. Is the audio real? Is the audio made up? Is there sort of distrust within the Executive Council? So many questions are plaguing that audio, Senator. And
you see that's it. Is whether there are so many excuses coming out now. We're hearing the thing about is that AI. We're hearing all of these kind of, and all we're saying is that the population deserves clarity. Silence is not an option at this point in time, because the level of mistrust that can arise from that does not augur well for your term in office, does not augur well for your governance. And the way you see they badgered Franca with it, because it was in the height of the politics, and they saw it as an opportunity to beat her down to nothing. And those are the kinds of things we have to remember when we're dealing with individuals. We have to be mindful of people. All right? And now that the tables are turned, all we are getting are excuses. And I'm going to drill down on it that the onus now is on the two individuals whose voices are on that recording to come clean to the population, say to the population, it's us. This is what we. Whether if you choose to apologize, that's up to you. But what we need is clarity. That's all we're asking for. We're asking you to see whether or not it was you. And if it is not you, then we need a serious investigation into the level of quality of artificial intelligence that we use in Tobago.
And Senator, I don't know if Dwayne, you have a question? All right, let's hand you over to Dwayne.
All right, Senator. Let's take it that the video is indeed the two representatives of the Executive Council. Is it novel because I mean by now everybody heard the video, listened to the video. Is it novel for political entities to strategize and to spread propaganda? Because let's be real, the nature of our politics. And I'm certain that even the political party at which you represent now is also guilty of propaganda. Is it novel for what was heard as content in that video for political parties to strategize and so on? Tell us about that, please.
Let me say something very clear. The administration that is in office said to us that everything that the PNM was doing was bad and wrong and illegal. And the administration in office said to us, said to the entire population of Tobago, we are going to do things different.
Right.
And so if you are the current administration, your yardstick should not be the PNM, because you said that everything that the PNM was doing was wrong.
Right.
So I'm not even going down that road this morning, because the reality is you came into office saying that you are different. You came into office chastising us for being a particular way. So this excuse that the administration constantly is reverting to now, that, well, the PNM does do X, Y, Z, and the PNM, you said you would be different. You signed, what is it they call the
social contract.
The social contract. You signed the social contract, made a big hoorah about it on the platform. Commission of affidavit, everything you did, you said you would be different.
Right. And my follow-up question is, though, did the social contract entail this factor of propaganda? They're not spewing propaganda, because again, let's be real, the nature of our politics in the country is one of is antagonistic, is one of bacchanalia, and and we also have to be real that as unfortunate as it is, the PNM, the UNC, and all the political entities are guilty of the same thing. And you mentioned about morality and the possibility of an apology.
And Mr. Nuss, I'm going to drill down on it again.
Right.
I'm going to drill down on it again.
So
the PDP promised us different politics.
Right.
So you can't say that all the other parties are fine. If that's what you're saying, that's what you're saying. But you said you would be different.
Right. So I haven't yet finished phrasing the question. If you would allow me to. Right. Thank you very much. You're here representing a political entity who is, by no doubt, guilty of the same thing, right?
Guilty of what?
Propaganda. Let's be real. The UNC, everybody is guilty of it. It's unfortunate, and I'll be honest with you and say that I love politics not for what it is, but rather for what it should be, because I represent the youth in my side of the vineyard.
Right, if you
can I finish?
No, but it's an interview, Mr. Nuss.
Right. So my question is, do you think it's fair that if you two are guilty of the same thing, that you would point fingers, but who is right and who is wrong?
Right. So let's treat this. First and foremost, we're doing an interview, and so the questions ought to come to me very succinctly so that I could answer them. Right. Well, there's a lot of preamble that doesn't allow the time for me to respond, and then we're going to run out of time. The second thing is that you said to us this morning that the PNM is guilty. Now, if we're dealing with guilt and innocence, then there ought to be evidence. And so if you're going to ask me a question on guilt, then you need to provide the evidence of the PNM being guilty of propaganda. Right? What we have before us and what we've seen over the last day or two is evidence of, well, we have a recording, which is evidence of activities and plans taking place to do particular things. And all I'm saying to you is that the PDP, whatever the entity is now, said that their politics is going to be different. And all we're calling on the present administration to do, you are in the seat of governance now. All we are saying to you to do is to clear the air. Whether the recording is true or not, that's what we need to know. Because you are in governance now. You are in power now. The PNM is not in power in Tobago. The UNC is not in power. What we are asking the governance, the entity that is in governance in Tobago, you need to clear the air. That's all we said.
Okay.
All right. Do we have any more questions before I?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Wow. Senator, so I want us to look at the supporters of, well, I don't know if to say the TPP or PDP, but basically the supporters of Chief Secretary Fali Augustine. We would have listened to some of their grievances yesterday, and some of their most vocal supporters would have lamented that all this time I was doing it for free. All this time I was defending Fali for free. All this time I was aiding in the, not setting propaganda, let me not use that statement. All this time I was setting the narrative for free, only to find out that there were those who were given THA jobs, those given the 8 to 4. Do you think now that there's going to be some type of divide within the political space? Do you think that some people will go to the other side, some people will not vote, or simply some people would remain loyal to Fali and, Chief Secretary Fali and his executive members?
Again, that question is not for me. That question is not for me. That question is for the administration to treat with. They are the ones who have to now deal with this. I don't know who the supporters are. I don't know what arrangement they had, and so we're not gonna answer whether or not whether or not they are going to go to the other side of all I'm saying again. These people need to own up to what they did, and they need to come to the public and say that they are responsible for it.
Understood, Senator. And another point, because I'm trying to answer most of the questions that are happening in this space, so these views are probably views I would have heard from people on the ground. Another question that is raising is the legality of the spreading of the propaganda. Some people are asking why use public funds to employ people whose sole reason is to spread propaganda. Because we heard in the voice recording they would have said, you spread the propaganda, we give you the 8 to 4. That's basically the whole theme of the recording that we heard yesterday. Do you think that it was in fact illegal for the executive members to employ people to spread propaganda in exchange for an 8 to 4 under the Tobago House of Assembly?
Well, what I could tell you is that advice is being sought as to whether or not what transpired there is illegal. It is frightening that is what we have come to in Tobago, and so we are seeking advice, or advice is being sought with regards to whether or not that was illegal, and whether or not we have infringements on the Integrity in Public Life Act and all of those kinds of things. Because what you've done is used public funds in payment for political activities. And if that is the case, there is evidence of that, because that was the plan, or that is the plan. Because as you heard, one of the voices said we're not going to stop campaigning. So it seems as if that is going to be, or that is the modus operandi of the administration. If in truth the voices on the recording are the voices of persons in public life.
All right, Senator Dwayne, you have anything to ask?
Yeah, Senator, me again, how are you?
I am fine.
Right. My question to you is, I hear you on the fact that, it is frightening and it is, questionable and concerning that, people are being hired for 8 to 4, as the video might have said, or would have said, or highlighted, to spread propaganda, right? My question to you is it novel, or is it new? Did this administration usher in a new thing by hiring or talking or planning to hire persons to help advance the political cause of the political entity that is the executive today? Is it new? And
Mr. Nurse, you're asking me the same question. You're asking me the same question in a different format. Yeah, you're asking me the same question.
Right. And perhaps it's because I didn't get an answer to the question.
No. But I think you should pose that question to the person who would answer that question for you.
Well. I want to explain that the question is relevant as you represent an entity, just like the one that you're criticizing now. And I think it's important that, given that we all understand that politicking is new and propaganda is not new, right?
I don't want to seem too provocative this morning, but
sure.
I'm hoping that you may not have been one of those who would have fallen in that line as well. But
what line is that?
No. But I think that question ought to be posed not to me, but to the persons whose voices were on the recording.
Okay.
That's all, because you asked me that question earlier, and you come back and you've asked me the same question, but in a different format.
Okay.
Right?
All right. Senator, anything else you'd like to add before we wrap up this morning's interview?
Well, a couple of things. I don't want to seem as schoolmaster Lawrence this morning, but when we came on this morning, I didn't correct it at the time, and I think that we need to correct it.
Okay.
That especially with you guys, young people in media, I think we ought to remember that our leaders are to be addressed in a particular way. Because I missed it earlier. I should have addressed it when it happened, but I recognize that we were referring to the Prime Minister as well. And I think being young in media, we ought not to follow precedents that have been set by older people who have clearly lost respect. I think we need to, in Tobago, I think we need to remember who we are. And we need to come back to that place where Tobago was known for being respectful, being mannerly, because what we have a lot in this space now is a lot of disrespect. And if it's one group of people that I believe have the ability to bring it back, is our young people.
Yes,
so I just want to encourage you guys to remember that. I also want to at this time extend condolences to all the families in Tobago who have lost loved ones, tragically and not so tragically, as well as one of our heroes, the family of Claude Noel, who would have passed as well. And I just want us in Tobago to remember who we are and to ask the questions of the persons who have offered themselves for public life and who are in public life and who are part of the government, to remember that they serve the people, and if questions are asked of them, it is their responsibility to answer and to clarify.
All right, Senator, and I think I need to apologize because I'm so used to the local vernacular. I think I don't know, I can't remember, but I may have addressed the Prime Minister incorrectly. So I really need to apologize because I'm so used to just talking, with your friends or talking with the people on the side of the road and by the shop. That's the way how we would address it. But we have to be mindful. Not allow local culture and practices to intercede when we're on platforms such as this. And I think Dwayne has something else to add. Dwayne?
Well, I just wanted to add, and thank you for the advice, Senator, Mr. Hislop. He is indeed our Prime Minister, and respect must be given to the person holding the office. Yeah. And I also want to thank you for coming this morning, and sharing and just engaging us young people. It's really good that you give us that kudos this morning, and I give you a lot of kudos for that.
Yeah, I have absolutely no problem. I'm happy to be part of the Tobago Updates morning shows, whether it is the youth show, and I seem to be a fixture on the youth program, and that's a good thing, because I've always liked young people and want to be there with young people. So guys, let's just continue to progress, and let's continue to get better from day to day, right?
All right, Senators, so I want to thank you once again for joining us here on our Youth Wednesday show. It's always an excellent discussion when you are here. So viewers, once again, I am Luke Trim. That was the interview with Senator the Honorable Lawrence Hislop as we discuss what's happening in the political space. So viewers, we have reached the end of our morning show. Don't go anywhere yet. We still have much more to discuss coming up on Good Morning Tobago. So we're going to be switching over to the lovely Candice Jackson. So viewers, yes, I just want to thank you all for joining us this morning. And we're going to take a short break and we'll be back. So remember to share the live, share the live, share the live.
That created the Zinger sandwich comes the KFC Crispy Barbecue Zinger.
The only one I see is you.
Cheddar cheese, crispy onions, the most delicious Kentucky Fried Chicken, and barbecue sauce. Get ready for a whole new level of flavor.
This is how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show, and everybody's gonna know. Say it to them once again. They better look up below. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show.
Yes, be careful.
Honey, I feel I'm going to start to cook, yes, because these children must be hungry now. Right?
Oh, shucks. Oh. These plugs, oh my gosh.
Hey, wait up. Hey, come from there. Come from there.
What's going on in here?
Oh God, I should have buy exhibition, boy.
What would you do if this happened to you? Dial 990 in case of fire emergencies and always have a serviceable fire extinguisher ready and available at all times.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from
Good morning and welcome back to Youth Wednesdays on the Tobago Updates Morning Show. Yes, we are back. We had just one more thing for you. That one more thing for you before you leave us this morning. This morning we are chatting. The topic is anti-bullying drive. And this morning we have Miss Natalie George, school social worker, and Miss Alicia Psyche Haynes, the curriculum officer in the Division of Education, Research and Technology. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
It's a pleasure to have you here.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Many people might take this topic as, very trivial, but, it's a very big topic. Mm-hmm. It's important. So just tell us about yourselves quickly and, what you guys do in the division.
Okay, so I am Ms. Natalie George, as you mentioned before. I'm a school social worker, and having been attached to some secondary schools for the past couple of years, we have noticed through the division a lot of referrals coming in for bullying and issues surrounding bullying, right, pertaining to self-harms, students who seem to be depressed, withdrawn, suicidal ideation, that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And yourself?
Well, as you said earlier, my name is Alicia Psyche Haynes. I'm the curriculum officer for drama and dance in Tobago. And basically part of my job is about monitoring the curriculum as it's taught within the schools, as well as promoting drama and dance within the schools as well. And part of that job is about us partnering with other stakeholders. And in this case, we are partnering with Student Support Services with their anti-bullying campaign. right? So that's basically why we are here, to promote the anti-bullying campaign within the secondary schools, as well as the aspects within the campaign that involves drama and dance and the artistic arts too as well.
Right. You would have mentioned that the division saw the need, to have this program in our schools. What do you think give credence or prominence to this issue?
All right, so we have had the issues with self-harm, as I mentioned, and even suicidal ideation, right? Some students would say they don't want to come to school, or that they feel about killing themselves. They think about that, right? And it's too high. One incident of an attempted suicide drove this, it's too high, all right? Drove this drive for us to have this intervention.
What do you think, it might be the contributing factor or factors to this elevated issue, especially when you mentioned self-harm and suicide and withdrawals from school?
All right, so for the perpetrators of the bullying, what we notice is that they would have complained about either witnessing domestic violence throughout the process of time when they were home from the COVID restrictions, and even they would have said, they may be experiencing sibling rivalry. So they're angry. And they come to school and they take out their frustration on the children that's seemingly weaker or friendless or quiet, And so those children who are the victims now, they are the ones that exhibit those type of depression and self-harm and so on. Right?
And Miss Haynes, you said that you're using dance and drama to kind of help remedy the situation. How is important dance and drama? How does dance and drama help in that regard?
Well, while it is dance and drama are my areas of focus, we actually look at holistically at all the VAPA areas. So you have visual art, you have music, and you have dance and the drama, the arts of itself.
Okay.
Yes. So basically what is happening is that when you look at the arts, there are the intrinsic benefits that the arts tend to bring. For a child who is involved, it helps to build their confidence, it helps them to deal with their different issues, it helps them to communicate, helps them to collaborate. So as part of the anti-bullying campaign, one of the phases within the campaign itself, there is a mural competition and an artistic expression segment too as well, where the students can create a mural in their school where they focus on the anti-bullying slogan, which is take a stand against bullying, treat others with respect. So you have that part of it, and then they are also required to as well to create an artistic presentation where they're utilizing dance and drama too, as well as music on the same theme too as well. So the idea is for them to use the arts in order for them to be able to treat with the topic, because in addition to drama and dance and the arts basically being entertainment, it is also a powerful tool as well for empowerment. Right, and we're using it along that way too as well within the campaign.
And you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. It helps channel emotions. It helps help you somewhat get you away. It's like a place of solace.
Yes.
And I know that especially in drawing, you can tell what a child is going through based on what he or she draws.
Yes, because there are lots of people who will tell you that the arts save them. So some of those same issues that Natalie was just expressing within the home, there are lots of students who will tell you art saved them, dance saved them, drama saved them, music saved them, because why? The space that they would go into for them to express themselves in these different areas allowed them to get what was on the inside out and to treat with the issues that they couldn't talk about, so yes.
Right. So my final two question is, given that one of the factors to why children are being bullying or perpetrators is that they might have witnessed domestic violence, how do you mitigate against the the disruption going back home into that environment? Do you see the need that in the future that the division might have to do just a little bit more, include the parents, just to ensure that the home does not disrupt your efforts?
Right. Yeah, so the division does have a holistic approach, right? We do address the issues that parents are having as well, to try and alleviate all the issues for the children to be able to function in school and develop their academics, right? Basically, we do counseling for the parents, And if we cannot do it ourselves, we do referrals externally to other agencies.
That's good. That's good. And my last question is, what are you targeting all schools, all these schools in this strata, preschool, primary school, high schools?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So from the preschool level, we have currently we have the successful parenting program going on, and that's teaching the parents how to manage with the students, the preschoolers, and then we go in on this level with the anti-bullying campaign at the secondary school level. Then from there, we're going to come down to these primary schools. So everybody across all levels will be getting the intervention.
All right. Yes. All right. So, guys, unfortunately, this brings us to the end of our interview this morning. I want to thank you so much, and I know that your initiatives will be a success. I just hope that you get more support apart from the THA to help our young students, because it would mean a better society for us all.
Definitely.
So thank you guys for being here again. Guys, this brings us to the end of our Youth Wednesday show on the Tobago Updates morning show. I want to thank you for joining us again this morning. Remember to share the live, share the live, share the live. Up next, we have we go over to Note and Good Morning Tobago with Candice Jackson. Have a great day and be blessed.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Occupational Safety and Health Department, formerly Safety and Health Unit, was established in 2012 as a strategic approach by the THA to comply with the Occupational Safety and Health Act. This department is responsible for the development and implementation of an OSH management system throughout all divisions of the THA.
A warm welcome to the 9th Annual Tobago House of Assembly's Occupational Safety and Health Awards Ceremony 2023. This ceremony marks the culmination of all of the activities that took place in commemoration of the ILO's World Day for Safety and Health at Work 2023, which is celebrated worldwide today. The activities hosted by the department embody the theme for this year: a safe and healthy working environment is a fundamental principle and right at work.
We want to use this opportunity to thank all of you for your service to the THA, service in the private sector as well. I want to thank all of you for ensuring that we keep our workers safe, so that workers can go home safely every evening to their families. And we will keep working. This is a commitment that we will keep working as far as resources are available in ensuring that the work environment remains safe, hospitable, and healthy for all our workers.
Was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
Yeah. Hey.
Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago. Wake up with Candace and Denicia.
Let's go.
Welcome
welcome to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates, your source for current affairs in Tobago, Trinidad, and the region. With the perfect conversations to complement your morning routine, I am Candace Jackson, and let's get started with the news in 90 seconds. Vexing, disgusting, alarming, and dangerous were just some of the words used by the panel on the Minority Report to describe a voice note circulating on social media. The voices appear to be that of Chief Secretary Fali Augustine and Education Secretary Zorisha Haggett, so strategizing to provide THA employment for individuals willing to spread propaganda on social media. Minority Leader Kelvin Morris said that if the video is verified, then it is a slap in the face for Tobagonians who expected a higher standard of governance. Meanwhile, PNM Tobago Council political leader Ansel Dennis reminded Tobagonians of the Integrity Act, which speaks against nepotism and corruption, and the social contract signed by the assemblymen after being elected, which addresses accountability and transparency. Meanwhile, Public Utilities Minister Marvin Gonzalez distanced himself from allegations that he misled the Secretary of Settlements, Public Utilities and Rural Development, Ian Pollard. Pollard accused Gonzalez's office of deliberately putting the wrong date on an invite for a Wassa Sod turn-in ceremony, which took place yesterday. According to Gonzalez, the ceremony was scheduled to take place today. However, due to parliamentary commitments, he was forced to change the date. Gonzalez published communication between his office and Pollard's office, notifying them of the change. Gonzalez claimed his office did not get a reply to the change of date and said he never intended to cause political bacchanal. And finally, all eyes are on Parliament today, where the Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Rowley, is expected to make an announcement regarding the local government elections. Last Thursday, the Privy Council found that the government acted illegally by extending the tenure of councillors and aldermen while postponing local government elections for more than a year. And that was the news in 90 seconds. Well, viewers, the political landscape is certainly heated up, especially with this voice on this video that's been circulating. There was a lot said on the Minority Report last night. Hopefully you got to catch it, but if you did not, just remember you could always catch up on it on our YouTube and Facebook pages as well as our website, so if you miss it, just go back and watch it. But now we're going to get a comment from a political activist within our space, and certainly one that's quite familiar on this set, Mr. Anthony James. Good morning and welcome to you, sir. How are you?
Very pleasant morning to you, Candice, and I'm happy to be here.
Great.
Yeah.
Now, Mr. James, after hearing, you would have heard the video and the voices that sounded like our assemblyman, our chief secretary. Of course, it's not verified yet, and we're hoping we can get some verification soon from the persons who it appears to be.
Yeah.
But, I mean, what do you think? What are your views?
Well, to summarize it, it does appear to be who you said, and given that to be the case, I think it's a betrayal, actually. We have to call it for what it is. It appears to be a betrayal of the trust of the people of Tobago. You would have come to the public offering yourself, offering lofty ideals and so on, and they were planning to use public funds for their own benefit. They are not there to represent themselves, not for one stretch of the imagination. They are there to represent the public good with public goods. And that seems not to be the case. They were there representing themselves, and there's the offer to pay those that they recruit lucratively. It's mind-blowing.
Yes.
And
no, I mean, we know the nature of politics. For those that are in power, everything that they do, I mean, of course, it's supposed to be for the people. However, it's also so that they can maintain their position in power, whilst the opposition is there to, agitate and hope that, they can agitate enough to convince people to get them back into power. But, you know, in a situation like this, you know, should they have gone this far?
Well, clearly not. It seems as though they have their eyes set on the other elections, you know, for political survival, to survive in power. Where I'm concerned about a vision for Tobago. Where do the people of Tobago go? Where does the history of the people of Tobago go? That's the reason why people vote for you. In order to accomplish the dreams, Tobago has a certain context which we know, and we need to get out from that context where we are in, and to change the living conditions, change the reality of Tobago. The job appears to be too big for the chief secretary. It's not something I take pleasure in saying, but if I have to speak the truth, the job is clearly too big. And instead of dealing with the weightier matters of the law, well, the chief secretary seems not to be able to do that. You remember the last Thursday in March, the House Assembly was supposed to meet mandatorily and did not meet. And you can't back that up with two sittings in April.
Yes.
And that's not a substitute, because you have to meet at a minimum, didn't say a maximum, at a minimum once a month. You can choose to meet 4, 5, 10 times a month if you like. But you can't carry over 1 month into the other. But the point there is that he never addressed the nation of Tobago, never addressed the people to tell us what really going on. And I think he'll be hard pressed. He may do his usual thing to run and hide again. The job really is too big for the gentleman, really.
You know, in this age or where misinformation seems to be spreading way faster than actual information, factual information, and based on the feelings of the people of Tobago in these last few years, where they were tired of 21 years of one political party reigning, and they were hoping for a change. Can Tobagonians expect anything from our leaders, anything good coming out from our leaders, as you know, we're wondering about our political future?
Well, clearly the trust of the people was misplaced, clearly, and based on that one utterance there, you know, he has disqualified himself actually. Fali Augustine, Zorisha Charles, and I'm saying this under the pretext that the voices we heard
with them
were theirs. They have disqualified themselves. I can't see how they can walk around Tobago now and even in their office with any kind of credibility, any kind of repute right now. They have totally disqualified themselves, and they were actually speaking, representing two constituencies there. They were representing the THA, as it was said, because one voice said from the THA side, you have to employ, they have about 13 people, and all we need is 5 to do so and so. They were representing also their party, the TPP, that they are forming, as the case may be. And clearly now with the TPP, if it has any kind of credibility at all and want to offer themselves, clearly they have to seek a new leader and new candidates. You know what I'm saying? It is disqualifying.
But can Tobagonians trust anybody else now that puts themselves forward, given all that has happened? Does anybody else stand a chance?
Well, I would think so, because life has to go on. But I understand the reasoning for your question. It's like, you remember when the PDP was splintering, we see people burning up their jerseys, throwing it in dustbin. I don't know if you saw those videos and so on, because people were really crestfallen and disappointed really. And this is why we have to be so careful that when you put yourself up in public office and so on, and you give a certain impression, project a certain image, you have to be very careful to walk in that kind of capacity. And clearly, as I said here, it's not easy this morning to really pronounce on this, because this is really far-reaching. When you hear your head of government, your leader, and you know, I defended the Chief Secretary and the First Lady staunchly and very stoutly a few weeks ago.
Yes.
Because I tend to focus on the issue. And if we have to focus on the issue now, Mr. Augustine, people might be calling for elections now. Really, on this issue, he ought to resign, actually. You know. He ought to resign, withdraw himself, apologize to the people. If we are really a serious people, really, holding up strong ideals and so on, if we have respect for ourselves, you can't have a man proposing to violate our trust, violate, as somebody said, the Integrity in Public Life Act and all of that, but to really defile and to violate all the values that we ought to stand for as a society. You look at the oath of office, everything. I can't see how we can come back from this. The TPP, the PDP, whatever they were before, this constituency of people there, the government has fallen. It has fallen completely.
Is this a matter for the Integrity Commission to do an investigation on? And if found guilty, what are the consequences that Mr. Augustine can face?
I don't know exactly how the act is worded. I don't know exactly how the act is worded. But clearly we are seeing an intent and perhaps a pronouncement of some personnel that already exists and operating already. Based on that, but who is going to call them to account really? As I said, I haven't read the Integrity in Public Life Act, so I don't know all the parameters of it. So I don't know. But certainly the population must prosecute this matter responsibly. Of course, you know, the propagandists will come out and the spin doctors and come out. And this is how rotten the politics have become. I want no part of that kind of that kind of politics. Right?
Now, do you think it's because, let's go back to even Mr. Pandey saying, you know, politics has a morality of its own. Do you think that, is it just because the system, as you pointed out, is rotten at the core, that it
influenced
a situation where, you know, this new team muddied themselves?
Yes, I think so. I think they have learned from what they have experienced and what they have seen. The society, you can't have years of experience of corruption, of immorality and so on, and not be affected by it. You follow what I'm saying? And a good bit of that generation that is in power there now, all they had as examples is what went before them. You know, I mean, that's the culture. That's what they have seen. And what can we say? What can we say?
We're reaping the benefits. Reaping the seeds. You know,
of what was sown. You know, so that's what's going on there. It's pretty sad.
What about, you know, some of the things that are happening in terms of the relationship between the assemblymen and the government ministers? Because we had a situation yesterday where the Minister of Public Utilities said, you know, I sent the communication about this event for the THA to be a part of it. And the THA is saying, hey, no, we did not get the subsequent invites or about the change of date and that sort of thing. And, you know, there was this accusation from the Tobago West MP of a shaping of a narrative that's false.
As I say, it gives me no real pleasure to even speak fairly objectively. Because what we are seeing here, generally speaking, and not just in Tobago here, in Trinidad, there isn't goodwill, there isn't an honoring of the oath and honoring of the law. And it is confusing the population. Because under the law of Trinidad and Tobago, the Constitution, which the Tobago House Assembly Act is a part of. It is law. And the relationship between Tobago and Trinidad is also law. Right? The law says that the Tobago House of Assembly is in charge of WASAC. But yet still you have the Minister for Public Utilities in Trinidad spearheading a project that ought to be the domain of the Tobago House of Assembly. And since 1996 to now, that law was such. And up to this day, the Tobago House of Assembly, the people that we have elected, have not moved vigorously to make that a reality. You follow what I'm saying? But yet still you have in Tobago this talk about more autonomy and all of that. It's all confusion. People just repeating things that they hear, repeating a narrative and so on, but there's no real substance to it. What you're seeing here is that the regime is not militant and focused on its responsibility. Clearly, the regime, as I said, is not focused and militant in representing the people of Tobago. How is it that the person who is not in charge inviting me? It's all crazy, and there is no harmony between the regime here and the regime in Trinidad in order to pursue what is right, because they ought to be meeting to make sure that they honor the law, honor what is right, and clearly that synergy is not there. It's not there at all, as we can see. And I suspect, Candice, that we're going to have a lot more convulsions. Yes. We're going to have a lot more. Clearly here, I'm going to say, primarily, fundamentally, the regime here is not ready. It's hard for me to say, but trust me, the regime, we have seen it. It is falling down on so many different angles before us. The leadership is not there. The scripture warns us that woe unto you, the nation, the people, when your king is a child. Those are not my words. Those are the words of the eternal. And so that our expectations in Tobago have to be shaped by what we are seeing, by what the scripture has said. And we are seeing it before here. But what happened there, what we saw in the release video yesterday, really is galling. You have actually a plan, and it's going down like normal. If you listen to the tonality of the thing, it was going down like normal, and they're giving the interview, the views, send out the propaganda here, shape the narrative, and all of that to manipulate. It's like witchcraft. For what reason? Towards their own personal end. So what happens to the story of Tobago? What happened to the dreams and the aspirations of this next generation to come? And is that the example you're setting? No, Mr. Pandey speaks of politics as a morality of his own. He knows what he's talking about. But the Constitution, and which Robinson went to, speak to moral and spiritual values and the rule of law, without which no society can properly be sustained. You have a set of crime overrunning Tobago now. Tobago resembles somebody else, and not the Tobago that we know. Tobago is resembling somebody else as though we are now demon-possessed. What is the Chief Secretary doing to help that? When he can be in a meeting privately and making those kinds of selfish plans.
How does this situation hurt our chances of gaining greater autonomy and self-governance?
Well, the regime clearly has, this regime here cannot deliver that. There's no propensity to that. There's no predisposition. If you examine the individuals, we don't know them over the years to have that kind of capacity, that kind of conviction, that kind of understanding. And they haven't really negotiated with the population over a period of time so that we can bet our lives to say, well, this is where they are going. We haven't. Fali Agosting is new to the politics. He has not lived long enough to have the real kind of conviction and understanding. And I said, you see it from earlier o'clock. The whole creature called the assembly has been a janjating failure, because the assembly is a two-part creature, executive and legislative. And from 1996 to now, not a single law. We can't account for the legislature. We cannot account for the legislature. And you see it in the selection of candidates and councillors. No legal person contested the election. And when it came to the point of picking councillors, they can pick 3 councillors. Not one was a legal secretary. I don't know how much more conviction that we need to have.
But now we come to a situation where we in Tobago, we the people, are having to deal with the consequences of their bad choices in governance. How should we feel? What should be our actions? You know,
and it's a reasonable question, because what has shown up before us. Now remember, they were saying that they will do things different.
Yes.
And the reason for doing things different is because what was there wasn't good and still isn't good. So that going back to what wasn't good is not an option. It is clearly not an option. There is no vision going forward. They are not on Tobago, because you have had PNM there and PNM here for donkey's years, and we have not moved constitutionally. We have not moved. That's the fact of the matter. So we can't go back. The population has to understand that. We can't go back to the PNM. What has promoted itself, pushed itself forward as PDP and then TPP, clearly we see that it has collapsed before us. And clearly maybe it's God talking to us that we must be looking for some new entity that can really take Tobago forward and fulfill our dreams and aspirations. That's the way I see it.
And that's where we're going to have to leave it right there. Thank you so much, Mr. James, for giving us your perspective on these issues. And we're certainly looking to see what happens next. It's going to be a long road from here.
Well, let me thank you and thank Tobago Updates for having me.
Anytime. All right, viewers, we've got a lot more coming up for you on the program, so please don't go anywhere. We'll be back after this break.
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy.
The Across the Floor Dance Company presents Emotions, Movement of the Heart dance production on Saturday, May 27th at the Shore Park Complex. Come see dances of all genres. Seating at 6:30 p.m. Show starts promptly at 7 p.m. Tickets are only $100. Children 10 and under pay $50 at the door. Tickets are available at Shore Park Complex box office, or please call 391-2816 for more information. This is an event for the entire family. Welcome to L'Image Parfait Day Spa, your urban oasis and wellness center. Our services includes massages, treatments, facials, pedicures, weight management, detox programs, and much more. Call us today at 624-1452 or 720-7474. Trinidad locations and Bonacore, Tobago at 273-7772. Let us treat you like the VIP you are.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass
mass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supply specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
October will never be better with Tobago Carnival fever. Okay, passage and come on over. Yeah. Hey.
Tobago updates.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates. Well, viewers, we are switching our conversation to some young entrepreneur, I should say, within our space. Ms. Shabiki Vivas.
Yes, correct.
Got it right. Now, she is a student, tutor, entrepreneur. She has her own fundraiser events and so on going on. So, special good morning and welcome to you.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure being here.
So tell me about yourself and some of the events that you do.
Okay, so first of all, I'm from Guyana. I'm currently a teacher at the Harmon School of Seventh-day Adventists, and right now I'm in a series of fundraising events whereby I'm trying to raise monies for tuition. And for those individuals who were studying, I mean, for Trinidad and Tobago, you guys are accustomed to gates, but from where I'm coming from, there is nothing like that. So whatever, when it comes to school fundings and everything, you have to find it for yourselves. And I thought about how do I fund myself through school. I was accepted at a university in the US, Andrews University. I'm currently a remote student, but it's pretty expensive when you're doing the conversion from the TT dollars to US. And hence, I thought about providing services to individuals in exchange for monies, right? And hence, the first major event I started with, it will be on Saturday night, which is the karaoke and games night at Harmon Schools from 7:30 p.m.
Now tell me about what are you studying? Like, what are you hoping to achieve at the end of your schooling?
Okay, great. Well, I was accepted to do a dual master's, that is in community and international relations and social work. And so, I mean, that will take about 3.5 years, but after then, I guess I'll see my career path clearly. I'm still actually praying about something, so I may change one of the masters in the process. I'm not certain 100% as yet. But so far, the course I started with remotely is the community and international relations.
All right, so let's get into some of the fundraising events that you have. So you mentioned the karaoke night.
And games night, correct, which is Saturday night. The cost of the ticket for children 12 and under is $25. Because I'm a teacher at Harmon School, I decided to give my students the same $25 per ticket. And for adults, it will basically be $50 for general public. Well, let me just don't say adults. 13 years and over, it will be $50. And it's a night we just come, have fun. If you can't sing, you can just carry your own key. It will be fun. And then, of course, we have all of these different games that you can be a part of. In addition, besides the karaoke and games night, next month is my birthday, the 24th of June. Happens to be a Saturday, which is a blessing for me. And so I thought about, what do I do for my birthday? And the first event I thought about, why not do a telethon? And then I'm like, nah, people just sit down looking at music, looking at stuff. No. And talking to a Tobagonian, you know, she mentioned one statement to me. I don't know if it's true. The viewers can hear me out here. Tobagonians like eating.
Yeah.
Right? And so when she said that to me, I'm like, hey, why not do a fundraiser dinner? And so the 24th of June, next month, I'm doing a fundraiser dinner. Same venue, Harmon School. And it will be fun. Of course, the tickets will be out by next week, so you will know the cost and everything for that particular event. I have a thrift shop right now at me, or what people like to call a garage sale, right? And so one of the things I'm doing, I'm in partnership with someone with a business called Essie. And so we usually do bags from scratch, right? And so we have all sort of bags. Right now, I have them in supply, ranging from different prices. We have like from $50, $70, going up, right? And so you can check that out. And of course, we have like...
And where is this located?
That's in Idlewild, 32 Idlewild. For those of you who know where one is living, it's like not far from Wanna, but my telephone number is on the flyer. So you can basically message me and you can get the direct location sent to you. And so we have like clothing, we have shoes, we have like different small items and everything that you can basically purchase. And everything that you do, you basically supporting me to raise tuition fee. And on that note, I really want to encourage young people. You know, oftentimes we make excuses for our studies. We don't have money, we can't afford it. Parents, like, come on, there's so many things we can do that God has gifted us with to raise finances. So those are just a few events. Oh,
and you're a tutor as well.
Correct. That's the next one I wanted to mention. Some persons, currently I am employed as a Bible teacher at Harmon. And so when persons see principles of business, like, what individuals don't know, I'm a trained business teacher. I went to college at Sarasota College of Education in Guyana. So I did business as my major. So I am into business full time.
And of course, this is why you could engage all these fundraising events.
Correct. And so currently I'm doing, I started in January. And so I had a crash course for my students for the past few months. Last night we had our final class for those who write an exam this year, because tomorrow they have their paper 1 exam. So it's every Tuesday from 5 to 7. I also have like private tutoring available because some parents are more comfortable with their children just being there one-on-one, having that conversation.
And for some children, some students as well, it is better for them.
Correct. So all of that is provided, but the general classes on Tuesdays, 5 to 7. It's 100% online, which is Zoom we're utilizing. And so, you know, they get to see videos, they get to interact with their colleagues. And so far, I'm really, really enjoying the students. And because we have students right now, because the class recently started only January, we have persons from Guyana, we have from Trinidad, and we have from Tobago.
Nice.
By extension, we want the entire Caribbean to be involved.
But I mean, this is such a cool situation in a way that you could be able to interact with, you know, your Caribbean brothers and sisters.
Correct. And one of the things I like how it brings out the content, because I mean, when we look at CSEC encapsulates the entire Caribbean. And so I'm able now to pull examples from Trinidad, pull examples from Tobago, pull examples from Guyana. And so at the end of the day, everybody, they're learning about the Caribbean territories at the same time, meeting persons. So I know I had some classes where students are like, but miss, I mean, what about Guyana in this matter? You know, how do they differ from Tobago or from Trinidad? And then even before I can say anything, those who are Guyanese in my class, they'll be like, hey, X, Y, Z. And we really enjoy the interaction because of that.
I mean, and I think that is so good, because in a situation where there's so much focus on getting the CSME started, I mean, well, not started, but at least get it going, because we've kind of had a shell structure there for a long time, but it's taking our leaders quite a time to get that together. But I mean, these are things that we can do amongst ourselves to have that integration.
Correct. And I mean, the reality is the doors are always open. We just have to basically open them. And when we talk about integration, I mean, you don't have to wait on government or society to bring out integration. As individuals, we can do our own integration. And that is why networking is so important, right? And sometimes we don't capitalize on that. And hence, I mean, I honestly feel really great because, I mean, in the class setting, nobody thinks they're greater than each other, like how we would fight in general. Young people just know, hey, I'm meeting somebody, hey, I want to visit your country sometime. And so, yeah, and I want to encourage the general audience. Network, it's super important, and we can learn so much from each other. And at the same time, we can help to build each other.
All right, so how can people reach out to you?
Well, first of all, my WhatsApp number, it's on the flyers. Any flyer you see, you can basically click back on this link. You can get my number there. But let me just call it out for those individuals who might have a pen and they would want to write. So it's 371-5378. 371-5378. If you want to get tickets, well, I have my tickets here. So if you want to have tickets, I mean, you can just make contact with me. If you know any student or teacher that attends Harmon School, you can check in with them. Maybe I can send it with them, depending on the arrangement. But I mean, it's so simple. They say Tobago, there is no way, when it comes to Tobago, everywhere is close. So you can get me. And the other thing too, I mean, there might be some individuals who are saying that, hey, you know, I don't want to come to your event, or I can't make it to your event. But you can just give a donation. You can buy a ticket. I'm going to give it to some students if you purchase a ticket. Or perhaps you can just give a donation just like that. And I want to mention something. First of all, I want to applaud the businesses so far that I would have contributed towards the prizes. Some of them I have to check them today, but super supportive. There is no business person I would have approached who would have turned down or said, hey, why are you coming here? We don't give to students, or we don't give to things like that. Everybody was like shocked. Oh, wow, this is a different method, a different twist you would have taken to get funds. And I really appreciate the support. And there's one business in particular I went to. And I approached the young lady inside, and she was like, hey, the boss is right out there. He's talking. And so I went there, you know, he was talking to another gentleman, and I showed him the letter that I have. Mm-hmm. And he read he didn't read it, but he was like, I explained why I'm here and everything. And then he said there was another gentleman standing there, and the gentleman was like, can you give me one too? And I looked at him and I'm like, okay. And he explained, he said, okay, I'm XYZ. And I'm like, wow. He's like, write my name there. I'm going to make contact with you. And for me, I felt like, wow, there's still caring individuals out there who will buy into initiatives, who like to see young people grow. And for me, I love their smiling, because for me, I really and truly didn't expect that. Yeah, and so I just want to really say thank you to all the persons who would have been supporting me thus far in these fundraising ventures.
All right, great. Was all so just give people just a little update again, just information about events and the dates and the time.
Certainly. So first of all, we have the karaoke and games night. The 27th of May, which is Saturday night coming. Saturday night, you can't afford to miss that. You can win prizes. We have the spin to win. We have the flip challenge. We have the Mission Impossible game. And there's also a video up. So for those of you who might be in a Harmon page, you can check me out on Facebook. And you can check my page, and you will be able to see the video. I also would have published my videos and my flyers in almost all the different Tobago Hustle, Tobago Buy and Sell. So if you're part of those groups, you can actually see the update. So the 27th of May, 7:30 p.m., Harmon School. The next event we have is my birthday dinner. I mean, you don't know me. Some people don't like to go to events that they don't know people to celebrate birthday. But hey, it's Thanksgiving for family. You can just come with your family, sit down, relax, have a wonderful time, live entertainment. The ticket cost will be out very soon, but it's on the 24th of June, another Saturday night, 7:30 p.m. We'll have our band. It will be a night to remember. And then, of course, we have our thrift shop that is ongoing currently, mainly on Sundays, but you can call me at any time. Most of the afternoons I'm home, and maybe around like 3:30, 4 o'clock, you can check me out. We have all of those on sale. Well, my kitchen items almost finished, right? But still, you have a few remaining. So yes, just support the events. Oh, and there's one event that I didn't mention that I don't have a flyer for as yet. But let me just talk a bit about it. It's what we call like a youth symposium, but we wouldn't give it the name symposium for our young people feel they're coming to a program just to sit down and listen to lecture, right? But it will be on the first Wednesday when school closes. The first Wednesday, same venue, Harmon School, from 9 o'clock to 3:30. One of the things we're doing, we're involving our young people. Of course, they will have maybe 1 or 2 presentations, but they will be grouped, like it's from ages 10 to 25. And so we'll have persons talking to them on sexuality, about crime, about the different aspects. And of course, we'll have a skill component to the program. So you leave in there learning something. You leave in there with your esteem built. You leave in there with your worth. You leave in there spiritually charged. And so this event will be $150. It will be a luncheon. Mm-hmm. So our young people will have food. You'll be able to interact with persons. Remember, this is not a program I'm inviting the entire Tobago. And so parents, you can get your children on board the first Wednesday when school closes. You will hear more about that. I don't know if I'll get the opportunity to come on this program again to promote that, but nevertheless, you will hear more. The flyers will be out. Those of you who have my contact, just save my contact information. And so at the end of the day, even though I'm a foreigner, I can still do my part in helping to build our nation's children, because at the end of the day, if each one of us as adults, we do our part to impart knowledge, we do our training, the areas that we can reach, some of the parents can never reach. That's the reality of it.
Certainly.
Right?
Certainly.
Yeah. And so I just want to encourage the general public, please support, please support, please support. And I thank you all in advance for your support.
All right, thank you so much, Shabeki, for being on and for sharing your dream and your ventures. And yeah, wish you best of luck.
Thank you very much.
All right, viewers. So I think that we are at the end of the program. Oh, actually, no. We still have something else coming up after the break.
I say thanks for favor to wake up and hear me neighbor. 60,000 people strong and the vibes is never wrong.
Everybody only worrying. Never ever worry. Don't mind how things looking hard. I tell them never ever worry. If your nice can't get damaged bad. I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider, Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry. Don't mind if life make you sad. I tell them never ever worry. If your house get flooded out real bad. I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider, Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry. If sickness catch you off guard. I tell them never ever worry. If times fall on you real hard. I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil will always be here for you.
Never worry about a thing. Tatil, where people are people. You know what I mean.
Yeah. Hey.
Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates. Yes, viewers, we are not quite done yet. We are going to be joined now by Miss Lisa Theodore, and she is the Director of Strategic Partnerships, and we are going to be speaking about the importance of networking. So good morning and welcome to you, Miss Theodore. How are you?
Hi, good morning. Thanks for having me. I thought you forgot me for a second, but I'm happy to be here this morning.
I'm great, and we're so happy that you stuck around. So tell me a little bit about strategic partnerships and what is it about?
So I'm the Director of Strategic Partnerships of the Mines of Trinidad and Tobago. So the Mines of Trinidad and Tobago is the career mentorship organization, and it is a branch of the Mines of Initiative that was established in Jamaica by Dr. Camille Ricketts in 2018. So in 2022, we launched here in Trinidad and Tobago, and we launched with over 100 plus students across Trinidad and Tobago students online. So we had this virtual launch where students were exposed to successful career persons who were successful in their varying career paths in Trinidad. So the aim of our organization is to empower young people to build networking, to build career mentorship, to understand the difficulties, and to also provide that guidance for them to essentially navigate their career paths in Trinidad across a variety of sectors. So we're moving beyond the traditional lawyer, doctor type and like career paths that we're accustomed to, and we are exposing students, young professionals, tertiary students, to just really an environment where they can connect with professionals who have established some certain degree of success within their respective fields. So why we're here today is essentially to discuss our initiative in Tobago that will be occurring on June 9th and June 12th. We will be having two activities in particular. On June 9th, we're hosting our networking event in Mount Pleasant. So it really is one that we're really excited about, because when we first hosted our networking event here in Trinidad and Tobago at the Oju Wellness Spa, it was well attended. Everyone loved it. We used the big talk type model where persons were able to connect with varying activities, and people who were introverts versus extroverts, they really enjoyed it, and they found it very successful in terms of persons they were able to connect with. So we were able to, what we were doing on June 9th is bringing the same model, bringing the same type of event to Tobagonians, to young professionals, to young tertiary students, that you could connect, meet different people who are successful, bring your business cards. It really is an opportunity to build that networking culture that we think has been valuable to us.
So important for people to network.
Yes, indeed. We do say we see the value of networking. And so this event will be hosted, as I said, on Friday, June 9th at the Healing Garden Chateau. And I think it'd be one that, you may not expect it. So, encourage your friends, encourage young persons, encourage your daughters, your sons to really network. And because we do see the value of it in terms of providing that connect and that professional guidance with persons in your fields and that horizontal type networking. On Monday 12th, we're also visiting 3 schools in Tobago where we are bringing career professionals and essentially providing providing a session whereby students can ask questions about varying career fields, the challenges that they may experience with navigating career paths in Trinidad and Tobago, and then just providing them with tips. So the sessions in Tobago will be twofold. The first one will be on Friday, 9th June 2023 at the Healing Garden. It'd be a $75 contribution, of course, but it would be really one to network, to really to do beyond the parties and stuff. Those are important, but we also see the value of building that networking culture in Trinidad and Tobago. And so we're hopping across to Tobago to do that.
Okay, and just speak a little bit to the importance of it. Why should people come to this event, and why should they network in general?
I mean, people sometimes, you have this bad view about networking as it is a bad thing. No, I think sometimes, at least in my life and a lot of the professionals involved in this NGO so far, having someone who could say, hi, Lisa or Chantal, I know this person is good at this, or this person has this skill beyond what is in their resume, and having persons speak highly of you in particular rooms. These are the things that really add that value towards your career path. Because many times, you have persons going to universities and, they come out with their certificate, and then they want to figure out what's next. And what's next could simply be a person speaking highly of you in another room, a friend, an acquaintance saying, I'm aware that this person has this skill, has this degree, and just understanding how important that is. And it's not particular to Trinidad or Tobago, it's across the world. We see the value of networking, of using that to provide tips to sort of steering you in terms of the right in terms of a right path. Also caution and providing caution to you in terms of where not to go and how to handle different things. So I think we should never underestimate how important networking is, and good networking, building that, fostering that culture of healthy networking in Trinidad, in Tobago, seeing its value in terms of the development as well of particular career sectors. You have doctors coming together. They're able to discuss the different challenges they experience, and also that would also assist in also building how do we improve this particular sector? How do we improve the public sector? But I think when you have that sort of culture and that person's coming together to discuss these things, I think it provides it's really limitless in terms of what the value is, and it could be the value is both individual and it is both towards the wider community.
Certainly. Now, as we're getting ready to wrap, could you just give us an idea how people can get connected with you, especially get tickets? Most importantly, get tickets. How can they do that?
Yes, indeed. So sign up. We have it is very easy connect. So you go to Minds of Trinidad and Tobago on our Instagram page. We also have our Facebook page. And also you could connect with us on our website, ttmindsof.com. So you can go directly to the website, the Instagram page, or the Facebook page. You will see the link there to sign up. And then it's really as simple as that. Going to the Instagram page, clicking on the link, signing up, providing your name, your contact details, your area of interest, or your particular career path. And then from there, you will be provided with all the information.
All right, great. I want to thank you so much for being on with us and for sharing with us such a great initiative for our people. As you know, sometimes, we struggle in terms of how we get our business ideas out there and how do we connect with people. This is one way, this is one event where you can, make those connections to take your business, your ideas forward.
Indeed, indeed. Thank you so much for having us this morning. And it's really a matter of saying, I don't want to sit down in my room and try to hope to figure out what my next career step would be or how I'm going to execute and how am I going to execute this business idea. It's really a matter of saying, come together in a room where you have people with similar challenges, similar experiences, and, bounce off the ideas of each other. And I think that's the type of culture you want to build. We don't want to stay behind our computers anymore. You really want to get out there. COVID is supposedly over.
Yes.
Yes. You really want you to get out there, get back in there, and use your time outside of the computer, the work office, and really use it for your benefit. So that's essentially it.
Great.
Yeah?
Thank you so much. And viewers, have a wonderful, safe, and productive day. And we will see you again tomorrow. So take care of yourselves.
Tobago updates.